Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be how to defeat toxic people. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So you're now understanding that there are toxic people out there and that perhaps you are even surrounded by some right now. Without naming the certain types of people that perhaps are toxic, you need to understand one thing that they want, each and every one of these people. One thing they want is your time and your energy. They want to matter to you. This is why many times people, and you probably were one of these people, I certainly was, we are targeted when we were younger, maybe even being targeted right now. It's because we possess things that toxic people don't have. We possess empathy. We possess taking the high road. We possess doing the right things. We possess having the ability to love. We are a person, which is whom I call a beautiful, bright, shining light. Now, the toxic people aren't beautiful, bright, shining lights. What these people are is they're envious of you. They are jealous of you. Many of them actually wanted to be you or wish they could do what you do so effortlessly. An example of something that you do so effortlessly is just the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you use your words, the way you light up a room when you walk in it, the way you are honest and authentic, the way you're genuine, the way you keep your word, the way you continue to be committed in certain relationships with toxic people, despite the fact you didn't know the toxicity was out there. You see, when you were younger, and maybe even up until this video you're consuming, you thought that most people thought the way you thought. You thought that most people had your best interest at heart. You thought these people were kind and loving and stable. And how did you make it this far in life? That's what a certain person told me years ago in a very toxic and challenging department that I worked in. But having said that, you didn't realize what toxicity was. What you probably thought toxicity was when you walk by a barrel of something that says toxic waste and there's a skull and crossbones and it says do not touch or stay away or something like that. Well, yeah, sure, of course, that's toxic. But toxicity also exists in human beings. And there are so many different ways of people being toxic. It's not just one size fits all. Some people are toxic on a low level. Some people are toxic only a few times in their life. Some people are toxic each and every day, and they plan out and plot out how to destroy other people's relationships and lives and try to take what other people have. But you have to remember something. The toxic person who you are considering, they are weak, they're shallow, they're hollow. There's no core to them, there's no substance to them. They are envious and jealous, and yes, I've said that once already today. And they don't have a direction, they don't have a purpose. They don't know what to do. So what do? They direct their attention and energy into targeting a person. Perhaps that was you. And this is why when you were a kid, you probably were made fun of or teased or tripped, or you probably were having people say bad things behind your back, which you now know can be a version of the smear campaign. But back then, you didn't know what you know back now. You probably, when you were a child, let's say it was in grade school, and let's say that you weren't invited to the class dance or a special birthday party, and yes, that did happen to me. But if that happened, well, what happened? The person that had the birthday party, they were trying to isolate you. Let's say they invited the whole class except for you, or maybe you and one or two other people. Well, the people that weren't invited to that birthday party, they were being isolated and they didn't feel like they were part of the class. And yes, again, real life example. So what did that do to you? Well, that had you doubting yourself. And you were saying, wait, why wasn't I invited? I invited them to my birthday party. Let's say this was in 6th grade. Yeah, I invited the whole class to my birthday party. Why didn't they invite me? Well, now you know, there's toxicity right there. You see, somebody said something about you, and that's why you weren't invited to that party. Now fast forward to present day. Let's say there's an event going on, or let's say it is a birthday party or some get-together or something, and let's say you're part of a group and you weren't invited to go there. Well, think about who is holding the event and why they wouldn't invite you. Now, you may say, well, they probably didn't invite me because they were protecting me because they knew that there were going to be toxic people there. That may be true. I doubt it, but it may be true. It may be because they were trying to isolate you from the group or isolate you from certain people who they're trying to target to drive a wedge between them and you, and I hope you followed that. Another example from years ago, there was a group of people that I spent time with, and these people used to go on different trips all around the world, and certain people were invited to go to these trips. And I was on the cusp of going on one of these trips one year, but what happened? I was not invited. And I was always scratching my head trying to figure out why I wasn't invited on that trip. Well, the reason why is because I was being isolated. I was being left on an island. I was being abused, taken advantage of. But now I see it crystal clearly. You see, back then when you were a child, or back then in your early adulthood, you didn't know what you know now. You didn't know that people were toxic. They did know they were toxic. Are they going to call themselves toxic? Of course not. But now you know that those people never had your best interest at heart. So how to defeat the toxic person? It's by taking your energy back, and by not having them consume your energy, your space, or your time, or your mind. Now I know it's harder, or it's easier said than done, but you must slowly remove yourself from these people's purview, from their access to you. That's why on the channel I suggest so frequently to remove yourself slowly, begin to have a small footprint, create, develop, and get ready to execute an exit plan if you need to. And your exit plan may be big, meaning you maybe have to sell your house and move 3,000 miles away, or maybe it's just you need a new job. Either way, whatever you're considering removing yourself from, whatever kind of toxicity you're considering removing yourself from, you need to do it. Because if you don't, that toxic person will continue to try to give you more. Let's take the workplace bully. They will continue to try to give you more work. They will future fake you. They will promise you the corner office and never give it to you. They will take credit for your work. They won't give you the pay raise. They will tell you that they need you to work on weekends, and they will tell your peers that you're not doing anything, that you're sitting at home because perhaps you're working from home and you're just couch surfing, you're not lifting a finger, when in fact you're doing the work of 2 or 3 people, and they know that. The toxic person, how to defeat them? It's to get out of their energy space, to get out of their energy field. And to do that, you will have to have a plan. So example, let's talk about the toxic workplace bully again. Say that right now you're in a job that you need the money, you need to earn money, you need the job, but you don't like the environment. Well, right there, I would just suggest to you, begin sending out your resume or your CV and begin looking for a new job. Getting jobs these days is challenging. I know it's not easy, but the point is you will have to remove yourself from the toxic energy of these people. And again, wherever you go, there's probably going to still be toxicity. Maybe not to the same level that you're experiencing right now, but with the wisdom that you're acquiring and this newfound superpower, realizing that getting away from toxic people is the path, you will be able to identify and spot toxic people a lot quicker than you could in the past. So how to defeat the toxic people? It's recognizing that you're going to need to conserve your energy. Where you place your attention is where you place your energy. And before you acquired this wisdom or began acquiring it, you were placing your energy into a bottomless pit, which was a toxic person, maybe multiple people. But now you're realizing that these people just want to act like they can't hear you, which is having selective hearing, or not listening to you, or act like they never said anything, which is gaslighting, or move the goalposts, change the agenda, or change the objective at the end. So you stay stuck and you don't know what's going on. When you understand all of these definitions and you put them together, you realize that there has been toxicity around you your whole life. You just didn't know it because you are a kind, loving person. You're a stable, healthy person, maybe even an empath. But now you're realizing that you are rare. There aren't many people built like you, and there aren't many people who figured out about toxic people. But you are both of those. You're the empath, and you are someone who knows what toxic behavior is now. I'm going to give you a real life example of something that I saw yesterday. I was on the freeway in a car. No, I don't drive, but driving. And in front of the car that I was in the passenger seat, driving somewhere. And in front of me was a car about, I don't know, 20 yards in front of us, give or take. And in the car was a person, a male, wagging his finger at someone in the passenger seat. And it appeared to be that person was screaming at the top of their lungs. Now I saw that and I immediately said, whoa, this is not good. I've been down that road before, literally and figuratively. No, I'm not trying to be funny. Then I continued to watch, and this gentleman, this person, this toxic person did it again. So I told the driver of the car, I said, you may want to pass this person out safely and get away from this person, because the person's driving is berating whoever's in the passenger seat, and this is toxic. It's not good. They could easily get in a car accident, and we don't want to be anywhere around this. This is not good. So the driver looked at me confused because they didn't see what I saw, because again, I'm awakened and aware and I can spot toxicity a mile away. And plus I've lived it, so I know what it's like. The driver passed the car safely, and we kept on driving where we were going. They didn't say a word to me. They just looked and they said, wow, how did you pick that up? Like with their face. They didn't say a word, but they did look over at the driver, and who it was being berated, and I believe it was their spouse. Having said that, this is toxic behavior. It's everywhere. You will see it everywhere. And once you see it, you can't unsee it, but yet you need to identify that you should be nowhere near it, because at one point you were trapped in that toxic relationship. You're out now. So the way to defeat the toxic people, it's to stay away from them, to have boundaries, to get out of these relationships, and to maintain your space of abundance and your space of calmness and your space of healing. That is the path. That's what you must do. You must understand that, yeah, you can give your energy to other people and you can give your time and you can try to elevate people, and if that's serving you, great. But if you're giving it to a toxic person, you're giving it to a bottomless pit. You're giving it to someone who is ungrateful and who just wants you to spin your wheels, and they want to consume your energy and your time and your purpose. Your energy is better off being spent placed within yourself and getting your cup full and understanding who you are, how strong you are, how you were tested, and that you were in a toxic relationship. And now that how to defeat the toxic person, it's to cut the 4 ties: the emotional tie, the financial tie, the physical tie, and the spiritual tie. It's to leave at the whiff of toxicity. It's to leave at the scent of manipulation. It's to not take the bait of what people say. It's to not care about what other people are talking about you or saying about you. It's to take the high road each and every day. It's to place all that attention and energy back into yourself, to heal and to heal properly, and to reach the highest mountaintop of all. And that is the pinnacle of indifference. When you get there, you will realize there's nothing but abundance. There's nothing but beautiful blue skies, lush green forests and trees, peace, quiet, calmness, serenity, abundance, and you will have earned your stripes to get there. I just gave you a few examples of how to defeat toxic people, and I gave you some real life examples of how toxic people are all around you and how they were around me. In the present day, people that are toxic and may think that they're clever enough to still infiltrate your boundaries or still crawl under your radar and to infiltrate your life, they're not going to succeed, because you now have a superpower. You have a superpower that so many people can read about in books, and they can watch videos and think that they have all the answers and everything. But unless you're in the trenches of these toxic people relationships, you won't really know what's going on until you put yourself until you go through it. Let's put it that way. So again, you've gone through it. You know what it's like. You know what it's like to wake up in the morning and to be dreading going to work because you have to be in an office with the workplace bully. You know what it's like dreading being in toxic relationships when you have to go to somebody's house. You know what it's like that when your siblings perhaps are toxic, or your parents were, or your spouse, or your ex, etc. All these things equal one thing: getting away from dark energy. Staying in the high vibrational state and let the low vibrational state weed itself out. You're getting the wisdom, you're applying the tools, continue to move forward, and this is how you defeat toxic people. You don't give them attention, you don't give them energy, you let them do whatever they're doing as long as they stay away from you. You don't fan the flames or feed the flames of a smear campaign. You don't give them anything. You choke them out, you drown them out, you let them slither away off to wherever they're going as long as it is away from you. And that is how you defeat toxic people. Don't give them your energy. Heal and heal properly. So that's the video, everyone. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. I love you all. God bless you. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Realize a few things. Toxicity is going to exist for the foreseeable future. In the distant future, I believe it will be eradicated. I honestly do. But not in my lifetime. I wish it would be, but I don't see it happening in my lifetime. But maybe in yours. Empathy does exist. I'm one, and you're probably one, or you could be one. Then you have real people in the middle that have a little bit of both, or some a little bit more, etc. Point is what I care about is you. I care about you living your best life, your abundant life, your toxic-free life, and to leave these people in the past. And it doesn't matter if these people are blood related. It doesn't matter if they're your next door neighbor or if you were in love with them, etc. What matters is they showed you who they were. You need to really conserve your energy, not fan the flames of the smear campaign, not give them energy, have a small footprint. Do not share, do not overshare, do not explain, do not defend. Continue to heal and continue to focus on yourself. And that is how you defeat toxic people. I love you all. God bless you. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.